My lord, the state was making an example with regards to the place in Orlando.
Yes. So which document were you forced to sign?
Eyiphi incwadi ebakuphoqa ukuthi uyisayine? The document in Orlando where I was forced to sign.
Okay. Were you ever taken to the police cells at Puking?
Uye wayisiwa na emaselini ePhukeng? No, I was never placed in the cells in Phukeng.
There's an exhibit PP before this honorable court, which is the occurrence book, exhibit PP1 and cell register exhibit PP2 of Puking Police Station dated 19 June 2020.
Kunobufakazi oyikuthi incwadi ebekade ibhalwe esiphoyiseni eyikuthi yona ibhalwe esiphoyiseni sasePhukeng. Ubufakazi buka PP1.
Yebo.
Yes.
And it says at 0040 at Saturday 20 June 2020, suspect detained, Detective Sergeant Mokhane of National Cold Case Investigation, detained cell 2940620 Bongani Sandison Tanzi on Phukeng case 118 of 620, possession of live ammunition, notice of rights as per 14A number S09478284, read and explained to the accused and understood and detained with no injuries, correctly detained by Sergeant Mokhane.
Incwadi leyo ithi nge-20 zika June 2020 wena uye wafakwa emaseleni wasePhukeng ulethwe uSergeant Mokhane ebekade ethwese icala leinhlamvu ezingekho emthethweni, wena ufakwe khona lapho kulawo maseli wawukade ungalimelanga futhi ufakwe ukuyisimo esilungile. Baye bachazisela amalungelo wakho, wena wathi uyawazwisisa futhi waphinda wawasayinela na.
Kosenkantolo namanje ngisaphinda akazengene emaseleni eRustenburg kimi.
My lord, I still repeat, I was never placed in the cells in Rustenburg.
Kosenkantolo masingena lapha nephepha leli anginika lona ngirisayinele ngihleli la wavula umnyango emotweni. Uma bhene ehlele ngaphambili ngasayina azange ngene emaseleni namanje ngiyaphinda lokho phambili kosenkantolo.
My lord, I still repeat that even when we got there, this particular document that I have in my possession, I signed for that document whilst I was inside the motor vehicle and the door was open for me to sign, and Mabena was also seated in that motor vehicle. I never went into the cells.
And then the cell register, serial number 294 Bongani Sandison Tanzi, confirming that you were indeed detained in those particular cells.
Kuthiwa ke iregister yalapha emaseleni yangalelo langa yayikade ibhalwe 294 ethi uBongani uSindiso Ntanzi wayekade ekulawo masele waseRustenburg.
Ngamanga la nkosenkantolo.
That's a lie, my lord.
Ngoba nkosenkantolo manje ngiyasho lapha ePhukeng ngiyayazi ngicertify khona mangihlambe ngiyokwenza njenge ID copy certify khona na police station certify kuyo.
Because I know Phukeng police station, my lord, that is where I normally go and certify documents whenever I need to certify my ID copies.
Mawungaphandle kosenkantolo uyambona umuntu ongaphakathi iclass lapho uyambona umuntu ongaphakathi mawungaphandle.
When you are outside, you are able to see a person who is inside as there is a glass.
Usayitshena umkhana usayitshena umkhula babebeka amabhuku la behlele etuleni bebhala bona ngibabuka ukuthi bayibhala ukuthi babebhala ukuthina ngazi akazengene emaseleni kosenkantolo.
Sergeant Mokhane and Sergeant Mukhola were seated there. They also had books and they were writing themselves. I was never placed in any cell in Phukeng.
And then according to the cell register, you were later transferred to Primrose Subs for detention, exhibit QQ.
Ukuya ngayo le register yasemaseleni asePhukeng ithi yona uye wathathwa ke wayisiwa esiphoyiseni sase Primrose.
Kusenkantolo ngilethiwe khona lapha eGoli angazi ukuthi kwakuyiphi police station. Kodwa ukuthi mina ngangena emaseleni eRustenburg, hayi ngamangahlaza nkosenkantolo.
My Lord, I was indeed brought to a police station in Johannesburg. However, I do not know the name of that police station. The fact that I was placed in cells in Rustenburg, those are blatant lies, my Lord.
Okay. Before that, at 0045 on the 20th of June, now on exhibit PP1 again. Prisoner transferred to Primrose Subs. Detective Sergeant Mokhane took cell 294 of 620, Bongani Sandiso Ntanzi, as per Pukeng case 118 of 6/2020, possession of live ammunition with no visible injuries, correctly received by Sergeant Mokhane.
Kuthiwa ke isikhathi uma bekusele imizuzu eyishumi nanhlanu ngaphambi kwehora lokuqala ntathakusa ngazo i-20 zika June uSergeant Mokhane uye wakuthatha kwakade ikhasi number kwi-1186 yaka 2020 wakuthatha laphayana emaselini wasePhukeng ekuyisa ePrimrose wena wawukade ungalimalanga.
Kusenkantolo ngithi into yayibhalwa nguye ukube mhlambe khona umuntu oweza kimi wazongibuza mina ngangizomtshela mina ukuthi ngishaye.
My Lord, that is what was written by him. If there was someone that came to me and asked me, I was going to inform that person that I was assaulted.
Manje akekho umuntu owangibuza mina iphoyisa la khona ema police station lazongibona ngoba yonke into amtho sengikhulume kaningi laphambi kwasenkantolo ukuthi alikho iphoyisa mina elake la ngivulela la ngisemaseleni engithola la kuleso police station ngisuke ngeniswa kwe nguye umhani ongivulela ngiye phakathi.
And my Lord, there is not even a single police officer from all the cells which I was placed in that came and opened for me. It was always Mokhane who was placing me inside the cells.
What is important from this piece of evidence is that there were no injuries that were noted in this particular entry.
Into ebalekile kuzo zonke izinto ezilibele zikhulunywa la manje ukuthi akuzange kubhalwe ukuthi wawukade ulimele.
Kusenkantolo into engithandayo ukuthi mina kaze ngibuze ukube mhlambe ngabuza namanje ngabe kubhaliwe mhlambe kube wayithana ngoba kwakubhala yena akaze ngibuze mina.
My Lord, what I like is that I was never asked, and if I would have been asked, then I was going to explain, but none of them asked me.
If you were asked to state your injuries, which injuries are you going to state?
Kube uye wabuzwa wawukade uzobatshela ngakuphi ukulimala.
Ngizobakutshela nkosenkantolo ngokufaka uplastic ekhanda nanokudlwa ama handcuff. Izandla ziyavuvukala nkosenkantolo mawufaka ama handcuff. Mawulokhu ushaya ama handcuff dryer lapha ezandleni.
I was going to mention the part that I was choked with a plastic and also show them my wrists that they were swollen, as when handcuffs are placed on the wrist and they are moved from one place to another, they get the wrists get swollen, my Lord.
Now let us proceed now. Primrose Subs, around 4:30, prisoner received, warrant officer Mokwena received 1 unit as per Bongani Ntanzi, SAP 14136 of 6/2020, on Pukeng case 118 of 6/2020, SAP 14A as 0947284 from Sergeant Mokhane from National Investigations Pretoria, and then his number is also put there and then he signed.
Manje ke kwabhalwa ke uma kufikwa ePrimrose ukuthi isikhathi kwakade kuyimizuzu ema-30 ngaphambi kwehora lesihlanu ekuseni la ukuthi iphoyisa warrant officer uMokwena uyena owafikela kuye wena ulethwa uSergeant Mokhane naye wabhala ukuthi bokade ungalimalanga uma ufika esiphoyiseni sasePrimrose.
Kosenkantolo ngicela ukuphinda ngicacise lethu ngoba khona lapha angathazwana konke. Kosenkantolo mina mangifika mhlawumbe ngongenisiwe ePolice station bengehliswa ngihambe nomhane straight bengifika ngihlala emotweni noMabhena uMr Mhane angene ngaphakathi.
My Lord, may I please explain, because it seems like we are not getting each other here. Whenever I would arrive at a police station, I would remain in the motor vehicle and Mohani would then go into the police station.
ukuthi ngaphakathi wenzani angemazi uyobeka emesebiza uMabhenet akangivele ngivulelwe ngimlandele ngemuva ayekuvula lesele ngiyakuya ngene phakathi ukuthi ngangihamba nepolice lisebenza khona la azange aqondana nalonto lenkosi enkantolo.
And my lord, I do not know what was he doing or saying in that police station, and then he would later come back and instruct Mabena to take me out of the vehicle, and I would follow them as they are taking me to those cells, and he is the one, Mohani, who was opening those cells. There is not even a single time when a police officer from that particular police station that came to me or even opened a cell for me.
So you're saying the same pattern that happened in Pretoria North also happened at Primrose?
Uthi into eyenzakele ePretoria North iqhubeke iyayenzeka nase Primrose.
Nkosi enkantolo ngithi onke ama-police station banakhona lapha eVerrier engize ngaphumela khona nge-1 kaMashi ngiqala ukuyongena ejele eRustenburg 2021 azange avulelwa iphoyisa nkosi enkantolo esebenza khona.
I am mentioning all these police stations, even in Valeria, the one which I had to move on the 1st of March, all this pattern was followed. There is not even a single time when when a cell was opened for me by a police officer that works in that police
Sunday 2020 0621 entry was made. Suspect charged Sergeant Mokhale. It says Sergeant Mokhale from National Cold Cases Investigation. Charge one black male suspect Bongani Ntanzi for court. Contact his contact number as per SAPS 14 136 06 2020 booking case 118 of 6 2020.
kuye kwabhalwa futhi na ukuthi nge-21 zika June 2020 uye wayisiwa khona police station ubokade uyiselwa leliyaqala lasephukeni case number 118 yaka June 2020.
Angisacela ungiphindela.
Kuthiwa kuye uye wayisiwa kwenye police station nge-21 zika June 2020 ubokade uyiselwa leliyaqala lasephukeni lokuba nezinhlabu ezingekho emthethweni.
No, it's still the same police station.
Kusase yiyo leyo police station Primrose are you referring?
Yes.
Uthi kusase yiyo leyo police station yase Primrose ubekade ulapho nange-21 zika June.
Yebo ngeza nkosi enkantolo bayifundwa lapha mina ngeke ngiphawula ngento ebhalwe la.
Yes, my lord, I hear as that is what is being read. For me, I would not be able to comment on what is read.
And then that was in 2250, and then an hourly cell visit was conducted by Sergeant Kaba and Constable Makutu. Units in the 10 units in custody, no complaints.
Futhi isikhathi ke bekuyimizuzu eyishumi ngaphambi kwehora leshumi nanye ebusuku la ukuthi ufakwe lapho kulelo cell futhi bebalibele beza bezokuvakashela bezokuhlola amaphoyisa kwakade kuno Sergeant Kaba no Sergeant Makut la ukuthi bebakade belibele beza bezokuhlola kulelo cell ihora nehora.
Nkosi enkantolo ngamanga lawo lento yokuhlolwa emaseleni ngithe mina ngiqale ejele namanje ngiyaphinda eRamshana lapha eHosi Mapolo njengoba nayo izongilalile nje ubelokho evulile umuntu ekucheck ukuthi uright unesikhala ngithi cha.
My lord, that point of hourly visits, it's a lie. As I have stated that I firstly started seeing that in prison when I went to a prison in Northwest and even in Kosimampuru. Even yesterday, my lord, I was checked. The door was opened and I was asked if I had any complaints and I said no. Then that's when they closed.
Azange ngaqondana nalonto nkosi enkantolo police station.
At the police station, there was never such, my lord.
In all the police stations that you were kept at?
Kuwo wonke ama-police station labo kade uhleli kuwo.
Ngikhuluma ngama-police station ayi-4 ngihlale kuwo mina.
I'm referring to 4 police stations which I was kept at.
So all these entries regarding no injuries, no complaints cannot be true?
Shukuthi konke la kubhalwe ukuthi wawukade ungena sikhalazo wawukade ungalimalanga akusiqiniso.
Akulona nkosi enkantolo ngoba zange ngibuziwe mina nkosi enkantolo.
It is not true, my lord, as I was not asked.
Futhi nokubhala kwayo akaze ngiyibone ibhala phambi la kuthiwa ngimile ngiyayibuka iyabhala.
And even when that particular document was written, it was never written in front of me. I was never there when it was completed.
What is worrisome, for instance, in Primrose, there were 10 units inside that cell, and then there was noted no complaints.
Uthi into ekuthi iyenza ukuthi umuntu akwa acabange futhi lo muntu loyo abe nento angazibuza yona ukuthi akuzange kubhalwe ukuthi kwakade unesikhalazo nakhona ePrimrose.
Nkosenkantolo ingoba akekho umuntu oweza kimi wazongibuza.
My Lord, it's because there is no one that came to me to ask me.
Namanje nkosenkantolo ngoba lo wasejele bengibuza izolo ukuthi ngiright nangathi ngiright kube ngithe kuye ngiyagula. Ngizoqala esibhedlela kuqala bese ngifika ngisho ukuthi hayi ngiqala esibhedlela ngoba ngiyagula.
And even now, my Lord, as the prison official came and asked me yesterday that I was fine, if I had a complaint and told him perhaps that I'm sick, I was going to firstly be transferred to the hospital, and then when I come to court, I would be able to explain that I started at the hospital first.
So I am saying that entry was not only directed to you only, it was directed to 10 other units inside that particular cell.
Uthi akusukuthi lokho kwakade kubhalelwe wena wedwa. Kunamanye ama-unit ayikuthi wayekade ebhaliwe amanye ayishume khona laphayana e-police station.
Mina ngibonanga nkosenkantolo ngeke ngiphawula ngento engayibonanga nkosenkantolo ukuthi ibhalwe kuyiphi indawo ibhalwe kuyiphi office ngeke ngiphawula ngento engayibonanga nkosenkantolo.
I did not see that, my Lord. I would not be able to comment on what I did not see.
And these entries were made by independent police officers, independent from the investigations, by putting their names there.
Futhi leyo mibhalo iyenzwe amaphoyisa azimele, amaphoyisa angaphenyi kuleli cala.
As the court insists, that's an inaccurate mischaracterization of evidence.
It's what?
Mischaracterization of evidence, because according to his testimony in Rustenburg, as he read my learned colleague, those entries were made by Mohani, and he is related, is involved in this investigation.
Please, Mr. Musipili, this prosecutor is referring to Primrose. Is that not so, sir?
I'm referring to Primrose. Even on the question of
Rustenburg, maybe whatever happened.
Pukeng,
happened.
it is not Mohani who made those
Hello?
entries.
As the court persists.
Yeah.
Uthi ke umshushisi ukhuluma ngePrimrose. Ukuthi kubhale amaphoyisa ahlukile, amaphoyisa angaphenyi kule cala. Yibona bekade bebhala ukuthi ulethiwe awulimalanga futhi awunazo ikhalazo.
Nkosenkantolo nakaze ngiwabone lawo maphoyisa.
My Lord, I never saw those police officers.
Futhi alikho iphoyisa leza kimi lazothi lizongibuza ukuthi nginesikhalo na alikho nkosenkantolo.
And there is no police officer that came to me asking me if I had any complaints.
On the objection of your counsel, say, even at Pukeng, the person who made that entry is not Sergeant Mohani. He only signed where he's supposed to sign.
Uthi futhi nanjengoba ummeli wakho ephakama uthi nasePhukeng akusiyo uSergeant Mohani obhale yonke leyanto ukuthi wena ulethiwe ungalimalanga ulethwe ungenazo ikhalazo. uSergeant Mohani yena usayinile kuphela kusho ukuthi kubhale iphoyisa elasePhukeng.
But be fair to the witness, which policeman in Pukeng annotated that so that it's a complete report, as you allege?
My Lord, we will check with the original occurrence book. I'll get back to that point. The extra that I have does not say who is that particular police officer.
Okay.
Thanks.
uthi uzobhekela ukuthi eliphi iphoyisa elibhale le ephukeni bese uyabuya akutshele kodwa usazobheka.
Yeah.
Now, let's go to the events of the 22nd of June 2020.
Asiyeke kwizinto ezenzakele nge-22 zika June 2020.
Do you have the copy of the charge sheet there?
Charge sheet.
Exhibit RR.
No. No.
On this aspect, my first question is, were you booked out from Primrose Subs to Phukengi Magistrate Court on the 22nd day of June 2020?
Umshushisi ufuna ukwazi ukuthi uye wakhishwa na esiphoyiseni sase Primrose uyisiwa enkantolo yasePhukengi.
Ngiyethemba Nkosi enkantolo ngikhulumile nalapho ukuthi sahamba saya khona mala ngitshenanga ukuthi mangiya kuphi. Masifika lapha kwakuvalwe ngedanger tape la abade begcwele ngaphandle. Masifika khona umkhani wangena ngaphakathi ephethe ifayela le ngathi le brown le wangena ngaphakathi yena.
I believe, my Lord, I have already testified that I was booked out and we then went to that court, and I was not told where were we going to. And when we arrived, the place was cordoned off, and there were people that were picketing, and Mukhani then went in, having in his possession a brown file.
Wabuya lapho wakhuluma nomabhena wangitshela ukuthi lapha icourt lena kuthiwa kune corona la ngene wangaphakathi.
And when he came back, he spoke to Mabena, and Mabena then informed me that there was COVID in that place. It is a court, and people are not allowed to enter.
Thank you. Just before we get there was an entry made on the 22nd, 7:15 in the morning, escort duties, Detective Sergeant Mukhane from National Cold Cases escorted one unit as per SAP 14-136-06-2020, Bongani Ntanzi, case 118 of 6-2020. He was taken to Hlabane Magistrate Court.
Uthike kuye kwabhalwa futhi ukuthi ngalo lelo langa i-22 zika June isikhathi kwakade kuyimizuzu e15 ngemva kwehora lesikhombisa ekuseni la ukuthi uye wayisiwa wena enkantolo yaseTlhabani.
So when you arrive at that particular place where it was cordoned off, and then you were told that there's outbreak of corona, what happened there?
Ithe manifika ke leyo ndawo la ukuthi uye watsho ukuthi yayikade ifakwe i-tape kwathiwa ukuthi kwakade kunalo bhubhane we-COVID-19 kuye kwenzakalani khona lapho.
Nkosi enkantolo masifika khona akaze ngiphume emotweni mina ngoba wonke ngisho ama-truck la ayegcwele ibosha ngoba ngangibuka ayepake ngaphandle asikho i-truck umuntu owangena lapha kwangena kuphela iphoyisa.
My Lord, when we arrived there, I was not taken out of the motor vehicle, as even when I peeped through the window, even all the other trucks that had prisoners, there is no prisoner who was taken into court. It's only the police officer that went in.
Usayitshela umkhane wabuya nomuntu ayehamba naye wathi lo muntu ayanguye lona nawe ehlisa iwindi uMabhena wathi ayanguye lo waphinda babela ngaphakathi ukuthi kwakwenziwane mina ngazi Nkosi enkantolo.
Sergeant Mukhani then came back with a particular person, then a window was opened and it was asked that is this the particular person, and that person confirmed. I do not know what were they talking about.
Was that particular person a male or a female person?
Lo muntu lo obuye ehamba noMukhani kwakade kuyindoda noma kwakade kumuntu wesifazane.
Ngigcina ngimazi Nkosi enkantolo ngivena isikhathi kokuqhubeka kwecala ukuthi umshushisi la.
I later knew the person, my Lord, as a prosecutor.
And then let us go to the appearances of the 22nd day of June 2020.
Asiyeke la ukuthi nye navela nge 22 sika June 2020 wavela enkantolo.
Yebo Nkosi enkantolo.
Yes, my lord.
According to this document, on page 1, this where accused number 1, okay, the accused elected legal aid in this particular proceedings.
Uthike ukuya ngayo le phepha kubhalwe ukuthi umsolwa uye wacela ukuthi amelwe abameli be legal aid laba bangakhokhela.
Nkosi enkantolo akaze ngiphume emontweni mina futhi nalo mmele ngeke ngimkhomba ukuthi nangu ummele nga-appeara naye phambi kwenkosi enkantolo.
My lord, I was never taken out of the vehicle and I would not even be able to point at that particular legal aid representative that the court is talking about.
And then the matter was adjourned, you were kept in custody, no bail. The magistrate also signed.
Icala liye lahlethiselwa emuva futhi wena bokade usasengaphakathi esitokisini unganikangwa ibail.
Bangena wavela nkosi enkantolo ibail ngaleso sikhathi leso.
Yes, my lord, I did not have
Futhi
bail.
akaze ngizokhulunywa nangayo nje.
I did not have bail at that time and I never had
Ngoba ngena ngana nongena ngaphakathi angehlalele emontweni.
I never had anything being mentioned with regards to bail, as I also did not go inside court. I was seated in the motor vehicle.
And then we'll come back to this. After this particular appearance, what happened?
Ngemva kwalokho ke kuye kwenzakalani njengoba uthi awuvelanga umshushisi yena athi uvelile enkantolo kwenzakeleni?
Nkosi enkantolo khona lapha engilahleka khona kancane mayezothi angivelanga enkantolo. Angithi mina enkantolo angenanga ngaphakathi endawo ukuthi une corona.
My lord, there is somewhere where I'm getting confused, as the state says I did not appear in court, as I did not go inside since there was COVID-19.
I said, what happened after this particular court appearance?
Uthi umshushisi kwenzakeleni ke ngemva kokuthi usewubuya khona kwamantshi?
Nkosi enkantolo mayisuke umhane ephuma ngaphakathi la ungenile emontweni.
After Mr. Mkhane has went in, he came back and went into the motor vehicle.
Wajikisa imoto yabheka lapha esiqhama ngakhona wehla futhi wakhuluma noJonathan ngoba ngangesikhotha ngoJonathan ngalolo langa lelo nkosi enkantolo.
He made a U-turn and the vehicle faced from where we were coming from, and he spoke to Jonathan as I was being escorted by Jonathan at that point.
Wakhuluma nabo.
He spoke to them.
Ngayibona imoto mayiswala zangena indlela le ebheka kuphi ebheka ngathi ibheka le ngasephukeni le ndlela le ehamba toti izophumelela lokha.
And then the motor vehicles drove off towards Puking until they got to Luka.
Ngayibona singena kwenye indawo ke yakhiwa hle egcwele abantu zangena imoto phakathi. And zayizafeza paka ngemuva ngale ma parking.
And the motor vehicle then went into a certain place where there were people, and it was a well-built place, and then the motor vehicles parked there.
Masifika kuma parking ke wasehla futhi ke wahamba wangena ngaphakathi ngangazi ukuthi uyakuphi maphela mina ngangazi ukuthi kiwa bayikho into engitshena yona ukuthi ndoda manje sifuna indawo so futhi azange angibuze njengomuntu owazi Rustenburg ezinye indawo ukuthi sikuphi kukuphi la akaze angibuze nithi.
And when we got there, Mkhane went out and went in that place, as I was not told or asked on where were we going. Since I was a person that was familiar with Rustenburg, I was not asked on what were we or where were we going to.
Okay, you earlier testified a few days ago that Mkhane was this person, when you looked at him, he seemed as if he was worried, and as a result, he kept on asking if you were okay. Do you remember that evidence?
Usakhumbula ukuthi wena uthe uMkhane wayekade ebukeka njengomuntu okhathazekile, ubekade elibele ekubuza ukuthi wena ulungile na?
Ngethemba nkosi enkantolo lapho ekade ngibuzelanga ngangishaya ngalokho engibuza ukuthi ngiright ngiyangibuka la.
I believe, my Lord, he was asking, as I was being assaulted, that am I okay?
You further took it further, that even at the time you were driving, he would look you through the mirror and ask if you're okay, sir. Did you forget that?
Uthe
evidence?
futhi ubekade ngalesikhathi elibele shayela imoto wayekade enokubuka nangesibuko ekubuza ukuthi u right na.
Ngikushilo Nkosi enkantolo ngoba ngangikade ngiqeda ukushawa ngalesikhathi etshela uMabhena ethi yekela ngidimana.
Yes, my Lord, I did mention that, and at that time it was after I was being assaulted, and that's when he told Mabena that leave this person interpreted as Yegelani Dima.
So, on your way from Primrose to Tlhabane Court, did he ask if you were okay?
Manje uma nisuka ePrimrose niya enkantolo yaseTlhabane uye wakubuza ukuthi u right na.
Azange sikhulume Nkosi enkantolo.
We did not speak to each other.
And then now he gets to this place that you were describing. What is this place that you were trying to describe?
Manje senifika kule ndawo le ewichazayo yini le ndawo le ewichazayo manje?
Ngithole sengingaphakathi Nkosi enkantolo ukuthi isibhedlela.
I just realized when I was there that it was a hospital, my Lord.
And then what transpired inside that hospital?
Kwenzakeleni khona lapho esibhedlela?
Masifika khona Nkosi enkantolo umhana ungenela ngithi ngaphakathi wabuya wangibiza bangivulele ubuthelezi ngavula ngobuthelezi emuntweni nga. Kwahamba yena phambili beza ubuthelezi uMabhena naye eza ngemuva ngalandela umhana lapha kuthiwa ngiwe khona.
When we got there, my Lord, Mukhani went in and later came back, and then Buthelezi opened the door for me, and they followed me as we were directed by Mukhani.
Did you reach your destination?
Ugcine senifikile la beniya khona?
Yebo singenile ngaphakathi.
Yes, we went inside, my Lord.
What happened?
Bayenzakalani?
Ngafika ngama Nkosi enkantolo.
I waited there.
Waseke engitshena usisi lo ngangithi ngangimuzwa kancane ngelanguage yezwe mangilale la embedeni.
And a certain lady whom I heard her speaking Zulu, she instructed me to lie on that bed.
Waseke eshova lento engathi ngumshini ngase kufika komunye owayewubhuti nyana nje wafika wasonta naye wakhanyisa akathi angikhamise ekhanyisa umlomo wami amazinyo la ngaphakathi.
And there is a certain machine which was brought towards me, and I was instructed to open up my mouth, which I did, and that machine was lit on my mouth.
Maye qeda lapho Nkosi enkantolo wathi mangisukuma ngasukuma futhi ngami.
Then later I was instructed to stand up, which I did.
Baseke bekhuluma umhane noma nobaba ubuthelezi ngasethi ubuthelezi asambe solinto emontweni.
And Mukhani and Buthelezi spoke, and then Buthelezi said to me, we should go and wait by the car.
Ngihambile Nkosi enkantolo ngalinda ke emontweni. Waseke efika ke namaphepha athi naka amaphepha la ngisayinela kushena lo bhuti lo angisayinela nalo sisi la ngisayinela lapha ukuthi ngivumile ukucheckiwa lento igolide lebethe amaphoyisa wangichecka lona.
And then we went to the car, and then this lady and this particular gentleman came, and the gentleman said I should sign that I agreed that they could check for a gold tooth, which the police had said they should check for.
So, before we adjourn for the long adjournment, I want to be sure that this lady and a gentleman, are you now referring to Dr. Shokwe?
Manje uma ukhuluma nga lo sisi nendoda lo abazile ukhuluma ngodokotela uhlophe lo bekala kulama vika dlule.
Because enkantolo igama lakhe ngiqala ukulizwa lami azange ngitshele ngisho igama lakhe.
My Lord, I did not know his surname or his name. I only started hearing it when he was in court.
So it's the same gentleman that followed you into the vehicle to make you sign that document.
Uye lo oze kuwe emotweni wazothi usayine leya phepha leliya.
Ngingasho ngoba wayegqoke lezo nto eziphatha lokhu ngimbona egqoke ngaphakathi kwesenkantolo.
I can say it is the same person as he was still dressed the same way that he was dressed when I saw him inside.
I want to be sure again
Ufuna
in the
ukuba-
vehicle.
ufuna ukuba nesiqiniseko lapha emotweni.
Because enkantolo ngithi umuntu omeza kimi namaphepha ngithi kuye lo wayengichecka amazinyo weza kimi straight ehamba nalo sisi lo.
My Lord, the person that came with documents, I am saying it was this particular gentleman who came with that lady, the same people that were checking me.
Ukuthi kokuba negama lakhe angilazi manje kuye lo wayethi angikhamise elayida amazinyo ami efaka nento ngathi lokhuza echecka amazinyo.
But I am saying it is the same person who was shaking me, and there is a certain object that he was putting towards my teeth, checking me.
Other than checking your teeth, did he say anything to you? Did he ask you questions?
Ngaphandle kokuhlola amazinyo uye wakhuluma into ethize na kuwe uye wakubuza umbuzo othize.
Kosenkantolo imibuzo angibuza yona ngethemba ukuthi wangibuza ukuthi ubani umuntu engihlala naye ngamtshela ukuthi ngihlala nobani wathi amanamba akhe ngawabiza ngoba ngabe ngwazi ngekhanda ngalesa sikhathi.
My Lord, I believe the question that he asked me was who is staying with me, and I told him, and he asked for the telephone numbers of that particular person, which I also gave him.
So, was he noting something on a paper as he was asking you those questions?
Ngalesikhathi ebekade ekubuza leyo mibuzo wayekade ebhala phansi.
Ngoba wayephethe into engathi iplanga ngapha le engathi nensimbinyana la. Yayikuye soma engibuza mina ngimtshela lokho ngimtshela khona amagama lo muntu athi ngikuthi ngihlala naye.
As he had a clipboard, my Lord, as he was asking me those questions, I think he was writing as he had that clipboard.
So, when he I want to be sure it was this male doctor that was here.
Uthi ufuna ukwazi, ufuna ukuba nesiqiniseko ukuthi ngalesikhathi ekubuza ngalo muntu obokade uhlala naye ozwana naye kwakade kuyilo dokotela lo bekamela.
Kosenkantolo wayefaka imask ngithi langa manje ngimbona imask useyikhiphi la ngithi manje.
My Lord, he was wearing a mask on that particular day, and when he was here in court, I saw him without a mask.
And mina ngambonela ngale one kosenkantolo ngimbona ngamalanga amaningi.
And I only saw him once. I did not see him again.
Before we go on lunch, remember you said there was a lady that you could understand speaking Sizulu?
Usakhumbula ukuthi uthe kunomuntu wesifazane lobe umuzwa ekhuluma isiZulu.
Angithi inkosenkantolo bami la phambi kwami bobabili maye khuluma lo utshena mina.
My Lord, as they were standing before me, when this other one was speaking, the other one was speaking to me in Zulu.
My Lord, we have reached the time for the long adjournment. It's 1 o'clock. May we adjourn until 2 o'clock?
Okay, we adjourn until 2.
Tasambeke siyodla sizobuya ngemva